so that we all know that I'm slowly losing this game of Magic.
No.
I mean, that's his form, my friend.
We actually play games on this podcast.
Oh yeah, I thought I had time. Why do I have to put it in my grave? Is surveil mean I have to put it in my graveyard?
Yeah, surveil is either you leave the card on top or you put it in the graveyard.
Seems worse than scry.
No, filling your graveyard can be a bonus.
Oh, that's right. Some things matter from the graveyard, right?
It's almost always strictly better than scry because the bottom of your deck may as well not exist, right?
Oh, interesting.
The chance that you're going to draw all the way down to the bottom of your deck is basically 0.
Mm-hmm.
So putting it on the bottom basically means you won't draw it, and the graveyard, at least you can, do stuff with that. Now, if your deck doesn't do anything with it, then they're literally the same.
That's true.
Unless you're playing a mill deck, and then you're sad. But I think an important distinction when playing Magic Arena for folks out there, hey, you can just concede if you don't want to play anymore. It's allowed. It's fine.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. I think I'm going to win, though.
If you're going to win, I recommend not conceding.
Sound advice there.
How do you see what's in your graveyard in this game, JJ?
You click on it.
I only have one thing in my graveyard? That doesn't seem right.
If you're thinking about exile, it's the little swirly thing next to your deck, the other side of the graveyard.
That could be it. Could be what I'm thinking of.
Stuff in exile you're not going to get unless you have specific ways to play them.
Sure. Let's just hit attack here.
Andy, back in my day, they called exile remove from the game.
They sure did. Whenever this creature attacks, another gets. Okay. What? Why do I have to do that before the attack? Blockers. Give me those blockers.
Did it say whenever?
Yeah.
Whenever means when you declare the attack, right? Then you have to do it.
So. Okay, we did it. Game over. So, welcome to episode 36 of We Were Gamers, a podcast where I'm no longer distracted trying to win this game with a deck I've never played before. JJ's here.
Hello.
And Michael's here.
Welcome back, everybody.
Michael, unfortunately, you got to listen to us talk about Magic again.
It's fine. Something had to take the place of F1.
Hey, only a few weeks. F1
I know,
will be back,
F1's
baby.
almost back. F1's almost back. Well, this is my try-hard season on Magic. Let's see if we enjoy it, Not try-hard, but try-hard in a We Were Gamers sense.
As hard as we can try.
As hard as we can try.
I am sad that the new achievement system that launched isn't retroactive in some ways, because the chance that I will ever get to Mythic again in my entire life is very low. But I did it once during the pandemic.
I don't know. It must be because they don't track that stuff and they just couldn't find a way to get back to it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not storing that information anywhere. It's like, well, your current rank counts, right? But not previous ranks.
It's a decent sized bummer for a lot of people, I'm sure, that have collection achievements they would instantly get or things like that.
So the collection achievements do pop because they are tracking your collection.
So
okay. There's a page on the profile tab. If you click on it, you can see how much of various collections you have, right? For all the various sets. But
I was surprised to see that the new achievements, very few of them are actually for beginners, really. I mean, there's probably 10 max, and then it's really play 1,000 games.
Yeah, a lot of them are just, the color mastery ones are more have fun and do a lot of blue things, like counter a bunch of spells or whatever, right? But the number is high. You have to hit 200 or 500 or 1,000. So it's really something you're going to earn over time.
Yeah, it's a lot of overtime looking stuff. And I think if I were invested in it, I would think that people might be disappointed in what the rewards are. They really aren't much.
Yeah, but it didn't cost you anything, which is the general MO of this game. So if it doesn't cost you anything, it's disappointing. Welcome to
Fair
Magic
enough.
the Gathering. Haha.
That's sad and weird. Slightly ironic.
And true.
And very true, it sounds like to me. Well, I did end up watching multiple Broad games, and now I understand the commander damage thing, since we're talking about Magic. What
Okay.
a weird side rule.
Yeah, man, it's just one of those things about Commander. Like, they have this weird rule that if you take so much damage from a commander creature, you just lose.
Yeah. I guess it's to prevent some sort of infinite life gain kind of thing. It's probably what it is.
Yeah, I assume it's like, well, the game can stall out forever if there are two life gain decks, right? And neither one can ever kill the other except through decking, which would take 1,000,000 years. So this is the way to short circuit that somehow. But like, yeah, I don't know. Like, there's 8 million cards that can fix that problem. So I don't know what I don't know.
I think it's to prevent, like, well, you brought an infinite life gain deck, and I just don't do that much damage that quickly, and we could be here for years, basically.
Right.
Yeah,
until someone mills, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It is funny because I think Ben Brode's point in most of those videos is like, look, how often does this actually matter? And the answer is like very, very rarely. It's like 99% of the time, you just die to normal damage.
Mm-hmm.
It is only in rare circumstances that commander damage matters.
I think Brode also comes at the game quite a bit differently than Kibler and other people who are out there. And so for him, especially, it's not going to matter. Michael, one of the newest videos that he is in, Ben Brode, the guy who runs Marvel Snap and used to run Hearthstone, was playing Commander, and his self-restriction for building a deck was these quarter-size miniature cards that Magic once made for Target, and he just decided that whatever he could make out of those was going to be his deck.
Okay.
Very silly. All the episodes, Andy, if you go back and watch all the episodes with Brode on them, they are all funny. He has hilarious decks every single time. Let's see. I don't want to spoil too many of them if you're going to watch them.
I've seen the other one, which was the banned list.
Yes, the banned list one is hilarious. It's
very
Michael.
Funny.
It is a deck built only of cards on the Commander ban list.
Oh, that's fun.
There are actually too many, but he had to pull some out because there are certain rules you just don't play with and certain cards that you probably don't want to ever see.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Like the one that destroys all lands, for instance.
Yeah.
But it turns out when your deck is only banned cards, it's actually kind of shitty. Like, the cards aren't very good independently of each other.
They're good. They just they can backfire on you pretty bad.
And they can't like do anything in isolation. It's like, I have a Black Lotus. I use it to play a spell that doesn't help, like, at this point, you know? No,
is Black Lotus banned? I don't think Black Lotus is banned.
I think it is.
Oh. Okay. Well, Commander's silly when you allow it to be. I think there's a lot of try-harding that we don't see because you and I probably aren't interested in watching it.
Most of those YouTube shows really know what's up, and they're like making decks that are fun and fair to play against other decks, as opposed to just like ridiculous and unfun.
Yeah, like one deck was just cards with the word Commander in or on or around it.
I like it.
Yeah, it was like he was like, I'm really limited in what I could bring. There was like 98 cards or something like that.
Yeah. One of my Kibler is a like very much a like competitive power gamer type person, but he has.
It's funny that he can't even turn it off.
No, he just can't. He can't not, right? And so like the people rightfully gang up on him because he's like he just can't not try and win.
Yeah.
But he has a deck that is only cards he himself has played in Magic Pro Tours,
Oh wow. Okay.
which is hilarious. And like it's like pretty decent because the cards were decent, but it's not like good compared to a lot of other, like, how powerful other commander decks can be. But he still wins with it all the time because he can't not. He can't not like turn it off, like Andrew's saying. So anyway, it's a funny channel if you guys watch it. What is it? Commander at Home?
A Commander at Home, yeah. Yeah, free shout out. They're worth it. If you just like watching silly stuff and they show you all the cards, it's not like any of it is a secret or hard to follow. I mean, it gets hard to follow when every single millimeter of space in front of Kibler is taken up with tokens and cards that are doing stuff and cards that don't say what they are because there's like too many rules going on that he's. But you kind of tune out at this point. You can see all the other people at the table tune out at that point as well. It's just like, nope, we're just gonna pick up and not play anymore.
You can tell. The nice thing is they track the game state for you, and I don't have to. But when I see there's 57 counters on something, it's bad for everyone else. You don't need to. You don't need to know the exact rules interactions that led to this, but you just know it's bad.
Yeah. So, Michael, we were talking because they dropped that achievement with a new set. Surprisingly, that new set doesn't come with starter packs in Paper Magic, which is interesting.
What do you mean starter packs?
Like those pre-built. They have Commander pre-builts for this set, but they don't have the 2-player starters that they had in previous sets.
Got it. Yeah,
It's
I was
motorcycle themed almost, or car racing themed.
Yeah, I would say car racing themed, kind of. With the definition of what car is quite expansive.
Yeah. It looks interesting. I don't know how good the cards are. I've only played a little bit. I was going to ask you, do you know if this Sparky's challenge thing actually ever goes away?
I think if you complete it, it does.
I've completed 3 fights against it, and it's just still there. It's still telling me that's the only thing I should be doing with the intro to the game.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either.
You can definitely get it. There's a checkbox somewhere in the options screen that's like skip the tutorial.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's not stopping you from actually playing other things, right?
No, it's not, but you can get achievements and stuff, or not achievements, I guess, but dailies done in it. So I can switch back and forth between that and playing the hilarious rabbits all over the place deck.
Yeah, I think it is for people that are grinding achievements, they're probably using a lot of Sparky, I would guess.
I would think. Yeah, it's probably a lot easier to get off all that. All those weird things they're trying to get you to do in the color things. Man. Probably enough Magic the Gathering for today. Unless you have more, but
no, I think it's good.
Yeah. Civ 7 looks to be getting some bad reviews, as we expected.
I think the important takeaway is new Civ game launches, people immediately say it's not as good as the old Civ game.
I think people were saying that before it even launched.
Which is the thing that people say about every Civ game.
I had heard that most of the changes were well received, but the UI sucked.
So I didn't necessarily, I mean, the UI always has issues, right? And they kind of refine it a little bit as they go. So like, I believe it. I did see someone post a screenshot, and this is just bad design. It's a picture of the tech tree, or is it the civics tree? One of the trees, we got like, it goes left to right. You remember how the one in Civ 6 looks, right? It's like,
yeah, I had hoped it would get better.
You got your technology, whatever it is, right? And then out of it to the right comes some like lines, and they connect to other technologies down the way, right?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And if a thing takes multiple technologies, like the lines kind of all converge at the thing. So it's like, oh, you need this one and you need the one below it. And the two lines kind of come together at the new thing that you need, showing you need both, right?
Mm-hmm.
The UI for this in the new one is much more compact. So like previously, like things would get spread out vertically a lot because there'd be a lot of technologies that have to like spread out across the tree, you know?
Yeah.
They compacted it down a bunch by like combining lines in a really confusing way.
Uh-oh.
So it makes it look like, and it's very subtle to tell when something requires a certain technology and another technology. Like the line is not, can be in a way that is really hard to tell that like, hey, this needs this one and this other one because they've like overlaid lines on top of other ones. It's hard to describe in a picture until you see it, and then you're like, why would you do this? This is just, you can just make two lines. Like 2 lines is fine. You know, it's very clear. I have no clue why. You know, it looks very clean and compact, but it doesn't convey the information at all.
Necessary to do the game.
So what are we up to here? Like if it doesn't tell, like if you scrutinize it like really close, you're like, oh, there's like a very thin black line showing that like this one curves upward and that one curves inward, you know, but it just looks like they're joined. It's like really bad. So like that's the kind of stuff that like you could fix that with a patch, I'm pretty sure. But, you know, who knows when they get around to it. So I think from, again, the early impression stuff that I saw, people are generally like, oh, the gameplay seems good. And there are people out there that are like really enjoying it, right?
Yeah.
And then there are people who are like, I can't stand this UI, it's horrible. So
yeah, I've seen some of both. So I'm just going to stay out of it like normal until, you know.
They've already published at least
hearing a little bit.
They've already published at least one patch. I'm sure they'll be doing more in the next few months. And, you know, I'm sure the game will get better as time goes on and we'll see where it ends up, you know.
Mm-hmm. Horizon, Michael, has Horizon gotten better as time has gone on?
I've certainly gotten more into the Horizon-ness of it. I just did my first Cauldron in this game, which is always fun.
What's a Cauldron?
So the Cauldrons in the Horizon games are they're basically these buried structures. They're buried machine factories, essentially, and you have to explore and fight your way to the core of each one. And if you basically hack your way into the core and then override it and beat the machines that are guarding it, you can then override a subset of the machines that you run into on the map.
So dungeons or combat arenas or both?
Yeah, some of both, I think, right?
Some of both, yeah. Yeah, so you have to, there's a bit of a puzzle aspect to how do you get, from the platform you're on to the next platform. Some of it is you have to ride some of the machinery that's working. Some of it is that you have to find the console to extend a platform. But then there are also machines that are patrolling and guarding the facility that you have to either sneak around or take out.
And you get to the central core, and of course, they got a boss in there. They got a boss in there every time.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There's always a boss. Are these repeatable or singular?
You can only, once you complete it, you can only do each one once.
Oh, okay. So not like the, I'm trying to think of the ones in, what was that Pokemon knockoff game that we were playing for a little minute? The Pal World.
Pal World.
Yeah, you got a big bonus for doing stuff the first time, but they were repeatable. Similar.
No. It's not repeatable, but like, I think it's more like, think about like a open world game, like a GTA or whatever. And there's like 500 versions of this activity, right? Cauldrons is one of the activities, except they're kind of a little more like involved. But the result is after you do it, now you can override all the versions of whichever monsters you get at the end, right? It's like, oh, now you can override the horses and the the ostrich machines or whatever, right?
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
So it's cool. It's cool. They're fun. They are, in terms of investment, they are probably the first type of quest that's right below the story quests. So I would say it's like main story quest, side story quest, and then probably Cauldrons are the next big quests in the log.
Definitely in terms of like amount of bespoke areas and content and stuff you'll be doing as part of them, for sure. Because like each one of them is, kind of a unique little dungeony place and, inside a mountain or whatever. And you're definitely not going to go back there unless you're doing that specific thing.
That's fun. So you've done how many of those now?
Just that was the first one in first one in this game. There were however many of them in the last game, 6 or 8.
Yeah, there's not a ton of them, I don't think, but they are good. So, Michael, did you actually get the ability to override the monsters yet?
Yes. Yeah. So I finished the Cauldron and I gained half a dozen different overrides.
Okay, you didn't have to go craft the overrides?
No.
Okay.
Is there a thing coming later?
I don't know which ones you did, so I don't want to comment.
Okay. It's the most basic one. So I have Burrower and Fanghorn and the Leap Jaws. The first one, some of the first and easiest enemies that you encounter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it changes later. I'm trying to remember it was a long time ago when I did the first one, so. And I didn't end up doing all the Cauldrons because I definitely got like focused on the story by the end, and it was like, I don't need these overrides. I'm not going to go around overriding these huge monsters.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of like in Diablo where you're like, I don't know if I need to do all these dungeons. Do I really need the barbarian spell?
Yeah, it's like, well,
exactly.
What are you getting out of, that level 60 barbarian dungeon, right?
Right.
So that's cool. Are you enjoying the combat and stuff, Michael? You're getting kind of back into the swing of things?
Yes. Yeah, definitely getting back into the swing of things. It is definitely a lot more time in this game spent choosing what weapons I want to equip, just because there are so many more ammunition choices this time around.
God, there are so many.
It's like, well, this bow has fire and ice arrows, but this bow has acid and tear arrows.
And then there's like 14 more, Andrew, to be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they went real deep into the customization of ammunition types for this game.
Like when I was starting, I was like getting stressed out. I was like, oh my God, I can't keep like one of every ammo type. I'm going to be screwed against some monsters. And it's like, actually, kind of no, you're good, actually. There's a few cases where you really want ammo of a certain type, but like,
sure,
by and large, you can kind of figure it out. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a lot of ammo systems are really trying to think of ones that are essential, like maybe the Zelda ones are essential because you need like light arrows to finish puzzles, but sometimes ammo systems are kind of tertiary to gameplay, like, oh, this one just does a little bit of damage faster, but it's really only like 15% or something.
I feel like, and maybe this is just my impressions, but like, Michael, do you think the first Horizon game, the ammo types felt like kind of necessary to have one of each all the time?
Yes, I think so. At least, as far as I've gotten into this game compared to that one, it definitely feels like you are able to overcome the lack of certain types of ammunition by hitting the weak spots on machines more easily than you could in the original.
Yeah, because like some machines in the original, it was like if you didn't have fire ammo or whatever, like it was going to take you a year to kill this stupid thing.
Right. But if you did have fire or arrow, it would pun intended, it would absolutely melt whatever was weak to it.
Totally. And I came in with that mindset here, and it was like, oh, like when you have fire arrows, yeah, you can like destroy this guy. But when you don't have fire arrows, like if you just shoot the back plate off or whatever, and then like hit it in the weak spot a couple of times, then it still also dies, which is like not how it felt like in the first game.
Yeah. So the weakness damage, Andy, basically stayed where it was, but they brought the floor up a little bit.
That's better. Yeah.
So you can't just fire arrows into the side of the machine and expect to do anything other than whittle it down slowly. But if you're actually aiming for weak spots and tearing components off, you can much more easily close the gap.
And to that point, they made a bunch of new ammo types that help you do those things. I don't know. Have you seen explosive damage, Michael?
I have seen explosive damage. I don't have anything that deals it yet. But I also did just get the what's it called? The shredder discs.
Yeah, dude, those things rip.
Yeah, so it's a weapon, Andy, that is expressly made for tearing components off of machines, and it's basically a supercharged frisbee launcher that you hurl shredding discs into the machines, and then I think they circle back to you. Some number of them circle back to you.
It kind of looks like a shortened highlight stick or a from lacrosse, you know?
Yeah, that's a good description.
It has like a little the little curved thing, and you like hook these frisbees in there, and you like whip them at guys, and then they're full of like knives and I don't know what other stuff is on those things, but they do good work.
Huh.
I got really into the spear thrower. I think I was using a ton by the end.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of the abilities there in the skill tree, and it looks fun.
Yeah, there's some really wicked ammo types for that thing too, like explosive, and there's one that does a drill, which I thought was super rad. Like you throw it and it like sticks in and just keeps like attacking a certain point.
Oh, that's cool.
Like fire damage, but only for like one target, like one piece. You know, it's good against armor, but bad against like actual like bodies.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. The spear thrower was cool. I think it ended up being my favorite weapon. I don't think I even had a good one. I was like using a blue one at the end of the game because it was like so fun to use.
Yeah, well, you get the spear thrower pretty early on in the story.
Yeah, so I really liked that weapon, and you just find like ones with cool combinations and good stats, and you're just like, there's like you can go find the epic ones or whatever, but it's like, it's a lot of work.
Nice. It sounds like they're aging well. This series is aging well. Like they're improving it.
Yes, yeah, they definitely broaden the options for combat. However, you want to do combat.
Well, maybe by the time they do the third one, it'll be a success. Unlike the Chiefs' third attempt at a straight Super Bowl victory.
Got him.
That was very ham-fisted right turn into sports. But it worked.
Like the Chiefs' offense?
Ham-fisted everything. Ham-fisted. Do we buy into the theory that he got concussed in the first quarter?
I didn't even hear this conspiracy. What's it about?
Haven't either.
So first or second possession the Chiefs had, Patrick Mahomes gets taken down by the ankles, and basically you can see that there's a shot from behind. Slams his head into the turf, like full force, at full extension. So nothing bracing him, nothing stopping him. And a lot of people are like, I wonder, he wears that helmet, that crazy huge helmet to try and prevent concussion. I don't know if it's true or not, but
it certainly is possible. I think the bigger problem for him, obviously if he's concussed, that's probably real bad. But
Yeah, probably.
I think the problem is, even if he isn't, the Eagles' defensive line just had his number the entire game. Like, it
It
didn't
was
matter.
brutal to watch, dude.
I don't think it would have mattered.
Like, even if he was playing at 100%, like, maybe he ekes out a few more and the game gets a little closer. But dude, they were sacking him left and right. Like, it was like they never blitzed the whole game. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, it was brutal to watch. At a certain point, it just wasn't enjoyable.
You know, go Birds and everything, but like, it is.
You hope for a good game in the Super Bowl, right? Like,
Yeah.
98% of the people aren't going to be a fan of one of the teams playing.
You want a better game than this for sure, right?
Oh well. I half wanted to check before the game to see which direction Vegas was gonna hope for, and
I believe the Chiefs were small favorites.
very small.
And it had swung like 4 points over the course of the 2 weeks leading up to it.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
Because
that.
right after the AFC NFC championship games ended, I checked to see where the line was, and it was like Philly by 3.5.
Oh, they had Philly up. That's
Yeah.
real interesting.
It really surprised me.
I mean,
And
they
then by
must
game
have just
time,
taken
yeah.
a lot of Philly bets. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Yeah, they must have, because by game time it had moved to Chiefs by half a point, full point maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you know, maybe the Philadelphia energy was indeed too strong, and they were just trying to, you know, make it look fair.
Well,
No one likes an evil empire, so I think it's fine. The Chiefs lost and all, but I agree with you guys that I kind of was hoping for a more exciting, more fun game.
yeah, blowouts are interesting. I had told a Bills fan that I know that if you could score 30 points on the Chiefs this year, you would win the game. And the only team that came close up until this past weekend was the Bills, and they scored 29 and lost.
Such a brutal loss, dude.
Yeah.
And
tight ends dropping clutch passes seem to be the story of the run up.
Yep. But
okay,
the Eagles scored more than 30, and they won.
Sure did. Okay. Do you guys think Kelsey retires?
No.
That's the other story, right?
No, I don't.
No.
If they'd have won 100%, right?
Why, though?
He's making almost as much money being Taylor Swift's boyfriend, and it doesn't involve playing in the NFL.
What money does he make off that?
He's had like a bunch of discussions about how he wants to get into like acting and modeling and TV and stuff. Like that is prime. Like, I want to get out of the NFL and do what my brother is doing in TV and stuff. Like, that is absolutely the energy there.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's 35.
Yeah, he's no spring chicken, right? So like, he probably has a couple more seasons in him if he wants it. But like, if they three-peat, I think he retires, right? But now
he's got that unfinished business.
Well, what's the unfinished business? How many? He's probably got the most of any tight end.
Most what?
Super Bowls, maybe.
No, Gronk's got more, doesn't he?
Yeah, Gronk must have more. Been to more over the time period, right?
Yeah, for sure.
No, he's 4. He has 4. Gronk has 4.
Kelsey definitely owns all of Gronk's records because, like, he has more yards, he has more catches, he has more touchdowns. Like, I think all that stuff is for sure Kelsey's.
So he would have to. Kelsey would have to win one more to tie.
Okay.
Gronk. So maybe he holds out for one more year to see if he can become the best tight end.
See if they can bring it back one more time. Yeah.
Yeah, because then he would own almost every NFL record for a tight end, right?
Yeah. The problem is, and I don't know, not a problem in his eyes, but a problem if he's chasing records, that he kind of wasn't very good this year. As a fantasy football player, I think he was kind of mid at best.
How much of that was on him and how much of that was the offense that Kansas City was running this year, though?
The offense of Kansas City, like I said, if you could score 30, you would win. Their offense was not explosive. It was safe. The offense was safe all season. Just get through each game.
Yeah.
And how much of that is because their O-lines actually sucked, but you couldn't, they were hiding it, or how much of it was that they had no receivers who could get open? Because I think both of those could be true, right?
It's true.
But you saw them both on Sunday.
I mean, his stats are down. Definitely down. I mean, he played more games. He had a decent amount of receptions, but his yards were down. His yards per reception were down. His longest yard was way down. His touchdowns were way down.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Kelsey's stats over the last 3 years, I think it's just a linear regression down, basically. Mm-hmm. So, he has a contract. He can show up for it and get the money if he wants it. But, is the wear and tear and the, physical problems that come with it. He's been relatively healthy, knock on wood, but we all know how getting older works, and it's harder and harder to get up every day,
Boy, I'll tell you, my ankle just started hurting randomly walking today. Just walking. I was like, "Ow, that hurts. Why does that hurt? I don't know. I'm just walking."
Yeah, man. I woke up one day and was like, "Why does my hip hurt? I don't know. Today it's gonna hurt." Okay.
It's raining. My knee hurts.
It must be raining this week.
It is raining here, so actually that's it could be.
It's like you think it's a joke, but actually I turned, mid-30s and it did start happening. My knee hurts when it rains. It's so stupid.
I wonder how much of that is mental, but I find it very funny.
I want it to be mental. Make it mental. I'll be happier.
Here's a real one. How would you know if it's not mental? What are you going to that's one of those deep philosophy questions.
Deep, too deep for me. Wow.
One last comment on the game. I did appreciate this morning's Onion headline of Philadelphia enjoys quiet week of Super Bowl victory reflection.
Oh yeah, they were tearing down everything.
Standard Philadelphia riot.
Yep.
They really just were like, nope, everything must go. We're tearing it all down and carrying it to the river.
I saw a very funny video from one of those wherever it is that riot is in Philadelphia, near City Hall or whatever. Mm-hmm. It was like a bunch of people tearing down a street light and then going, they're tearing it down because the light was red.
God. It's like so Philadelphia, they should have just turned every light green and been like, good luck driving, but we can't afford to replace all these stop signs.
No one was driving. It was wall to wall people.
Oh yeah, I would not have been out on the streets.
That's hilarious. Well, hopefully they, are good citizens and they're out there cleaning up their city the next day. I'm sure that's what happened.
Yeah, those people definitely put that street light back up after pulling it down. Go Birds.
Boy. Go Birds.
Oh, fly, Eagles, fly.
You got to be happy for them. They had that thing on their back for a while. So now it's Bill's turn to earn it for the Chiefs next year.
I wanted so bad, you guys, this year. I wanted to see Bills Lions. I wanted it so bad. That would have been such a more fun game. God.
Bills Lions would have been really like a no pun intended high flying affair.
I know. Too bad every Lions player was injured and none of the Bills players could catch.
They should have stuck by their principles from last season instead of using one season of bad luck to spite play every game and get everybody hurt. they didn't have to run up the score 50 plus in all those games, but they were too like, oh well, we took the foot off the gas last year. And it was like, no, you played the right way and got unlucky.
Dan Campbell has
Now
that dog in him. He can't not have the dog in him, you know?
Yeah, well, cost his team.
Yeah, I'm not, you're not wrong, but it is, you know,
It's like
that's
the
kind of meathead that guy is, you know?
Well, I know, but it's like back when I used to play Hearthstone, and you know, it was like, well, the 30% play is the right play, and the 5% play is not the right play. But every time I make the 30% play, I lose. So I'm gonna make the 5% play. It's like, well, you still lose. Congratulations.
Yeah, you played yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, hopefully those guys heal up and the Lions are going to be terrifying next year. So
I hope so. It would be nice to see them get out of the doghouse. The same with the Bills. I mean, Josh Allen.
we can't be too sad for the Bills. They have been to and won Super Bowls before.
True.
I guess the Lions technically did in like 1950 or something, but let's be real.
Modern era.
Yeah.
How modern is the new Mission Impossible there, Michael?
You know, I really enjoyed this movie. It's got a lot going on. But I think that the thing that I like the most about it is you guys have seen most of the Mission Impossible movies, yeah? Over the years?
I think
I've seen
so.
most up till maybe the last two. I probably haven't seen.
Okay, so the only one you need to have seen for my opinion on the newest one is the first one, the first Tom Cruise one, which was so convoluted that no one had any idea what was going on.
The
Is that the one with
first
that
Tom Cruise one, like from 25 years ago?
Yeah.
That's the one where he, like the famous scene where he's like suspended by the wire falling down into the
Yes.
room, right? Okay.
Yep, that's that
Why
one.
is that the only one you need to see? There's been so many since then.
No. It's the only one that you need to see to understand why I say that I like this one so much.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
because this movie, I think, more than the ones in between then and this one, got right what that movie tried to do and failed at, which is to keep you feeling wrong-footed the whole time, but in a way that doesn't leave you just lost and turned off by it.
Not like you're being
Right,
tricked.
Right. So this movie it's got a lot going on in terms of you feeling like, oh, there are layers within layers here, and this person isn't who I thought they were, and this is going on there, and you know, you're pulling out the red string, but the plot, there's enough of a through line of the plot to keep you moving along with it, rather than like, okay, pause, let me red string the last 5 minutes of what I just saw.
Hmm. Yeah, I remember the first one being really convoluted.
No, it's the John Voight one. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but everyone kept taking their faces off and proving that they were a double agent, so I was never sure who actually was betraying who.
Okay. That technology seems to have died by the wayside until they need it.
They gave up on that one.
No, I mean it
they
still
use
crops
it.
up.
They use it heavily in this movie.
Oh well, there you go. See, I was gonna say it still
see,
crops up in some of the later ones, but
maybe they know what is good actually. Then, you know, I realized I was just thinking back on Mission Impossible movies. I think they've had one of these movies like every 5 years or so since like 1996. That's wild. It's a long time.
So let's see, 96, 2000, 2006, 2011, 2015, 2018, 2023, and then 2025. Yeah, so pretty much.
Yeah, even less than 6 years for some of them. That's crazy, dude.
I never saw. I think I missed. I know I saw the first one, the second one, the third one.
Some of those middle ones were bad. That
Then
third one was not good.
They reboot his team right after the third one.
After the fourth one, because the fourth one is the Brad Bird one that I was like, I like Brad Bird, and then I think that one kind of flopped. And
some of the ones in the middle, I have like no record. Like I have no memory of this place.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm looking at some of the pictures. I'm like, which one is that one?
Fallout?
Which one's that one?
I don't remember Fallout. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fallout's the Henry Cavill one.
So, yeah, Henry Cavill. And is that the first one with Simon Pegg? No.
No. Simon Pegg showed up in 3 or 4. Yeah. 3, I think.
Man.
Did these movies replace James Bond?
Replace? No.
Yeah, I guess they were happening at the same time for a lot of the time, right? James Bond just kind of has given up in the most recent few.
Well, it's been 10 years since the most recent James Bond. They don't know what to do.
Well, they didn't want. Daniel Craig said he wouldn't do it anymore, and they couldn't figure out who to cast. And they were like, should we cast a black guy or a woman? And they couldn't decide on either, and so they gave up, is what I think happened.
Yeah. I mean, James Bond is a longer running, oh my God, how are they doing this every year or every other year? You're talking about them doing every 3 years, and it's like, I think James Bond was like, what, 60 something, 65? I don't remember when was.
Yeah,
Doctor.
It is.
When was Doctor No?
It is back that far though.
62 was Doctor No.
Then
early 60s.
So then,
so for like 4 or 5 years from then. Yeah.
Well, it was every year for a while there.
What? That seems impossible.
No. So here's the list: Doctor No 62, Russia with Love 63, Goldfinger 64, Thunderball 65, and so
Sean
on.
Connery,
2 more in the 60s. Yeah, Sean Connery just cranking them out. Yeah.
The machine. How many was George Lazenby? It was just one, right?
Yeah,
just the one, right?
Just the one.
Is that
Roger Moore did like 6 or 8 or 10 of them too?
When did they jump to like every 5 years? Is that Pierce Brosnan?
I think.
Yeah, because I think was GoldenEye the first Pierce Brosnan one?
It was.
I think it slowed down after that because I remember that we got like 4 Pierce Brosnan ones, but like by the end of Pierce Brosnan, people were like, I'm not seeing this.
Yeah.
You know what? What's going to happen? They're just going to get Daniel Craig to come back in 2028.
Dude, Craig, have you seen him recently though?
What about him?
He's old, dude.
Yeah. Sean Connery.
Just make Never Say Never again. That was the whole point of that movie, right? Was that Sean Connery had said he was never going to do it again, and then they got him to come back and make one more movie as like an old spy.
It would be very funny if they did that again.
I would watch it.
Same.
Yeah, I'm sure I would.
Sean Connery was not 34 when he was James Bond. Oh my God. I just picture him as an old man. I know, but I just picture him as an old man. Why did people look so old back then?
They were all wearing suits all the time.
No, this is like...
They were in those movies.
I know,
pretty sure.
Like, they look old.
Oh, the smoking. That's definitely what it is.
Oh, that's 100% it. You're absolutely right.
I completely forgot that they were all smoking all the time.
Oh, yeah, the smoking. Well, Michael, you weren't the only one to watch a movie, I was told.
Yeah, hey, Michael, don't you guys usually try and watch the Best Picture nominees?
Yes, up until up until COVID, we would do the Best Picture Showcase, which was all the Best Picture movies in either a weekend, a Saturday, Sunday, or 2 consecutive Saturdays, which was kind of a crazy ride, but always a lot of fun.
So I don't know if you're still planning to try and do that this year. I guess the time may have gone because the Oscars are pretty soon, right?
Yeah, little too short of runway.
There are some of those Best Picture nominees that are out on streaming services, though, and we watched one.
Okay, which one did you get?
We watched Conclave.
Oh.
You guys should watch Conclave. That movie is great. Andy,
Okay.
it is rated PG.
Conclave.
I think it's on Peacock or
the church
Paramount?
one?
Yes.
Yeah. Ray Fiennes.
Dude, this movie rules extremely hard. It is like super tense. It is really like just like a lot of good drama, and there is like almost no swearing. There is like nearly no violence. There is, I think like one hand the number of times that like actual like truly objectionable things come up. It's a great movie. It's really good, and the performances are like really awesome. Like I would support Fiennes winning Best Actor off this. I don't know if he will, but it's really good, and several of the supporting actors deserve the nods. So, yeah, my wife came to me and was like, "Hey, I want to watch this. Like, let's do this as a movie night." And I was like, "Okay, we don't watch movies too often, so yeah, let's go for it." And it ruled. It was awesome, and it is easy to follow. If you know even a little bit about the Catholic Church, you're kind of good to go. Like, hey, the Pope?
Yeah.
You know how he dies? They got to put a new Pope in there? That's the story. There you go.
Okay, yeah.
It's a rare movie that can keep people entertained that doesn't involve a gun these days. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no guns, I think, in the entire movie.
I'm just saying that's a stand-in for a lot of thoughts. A gun.
And it's not to say there isn't like, there isn't like drama. There's a lot of drama, but it's, it's ideological. There's a lot of like arguing, a lot of, who's this guy supporting, which is, whose side are they on really? Like, what are the stakes involved if we elect this guy or whatever? Very cool.
Nice.
I don't know.
I don't know if the kids would find that interesting, even if it's PG. But
yeah, it's probably the themes are maybe too above their head. But it is, if they were like teenagers, I think you could definitely get them into it.
Nice. I just
highly recommended.
Speaking of Daniel Craig, I watched an older movie of his called Logan Lucky. I don't know when that came out. 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017. He's got it, man. The guy. It's I don't know if it was a Netflix movie or what. It's pretty funny. It's a whole cast of characters that show up throughout the movie. You're kind of like, oh, that's Katie Holmes. Oh, that's Daniel Craig. Oh, that's Channing Tatum.
Oh, wait, was that the Channing Tatum one? Yeah, okay.
Like, this random side character is Jack Quaid. Okay. Sounds good, but it is one of those like we didn't show you the whole story. That's why you don't know what's happening kind of things.
Oh,
gotcha.
I want to derail the podcast right here with that, but I don't know. I want you to finish talking about your movie, Andy.
Oh, it's fine. I just like Daniel Craig. That's it.
I watched a movie this week also, where they don't tell you the whole story. One of the movie watching podcasts I listen to is going to be watching The Sting this month.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched The Sting.
Okay.
Have you guys seen The Sting?
I have.
Yeah, forever ago.
This movie rules.
Yeah, it's the original Ocean's 11 style, but the whole story was actually
yeah.
God, it's so. I mean, it's from what is like 72, 73 or something like that.
I don't know. It's like Robert Redford in his prime.
Robert Redford as a very young, good-looking man, huge chest hair, like. Who's the other guy?
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman as like a slightly older but still young old man.
Mhm.
You know, tons of like old character actors, guys that you like go, oh, I've seen this guy in some old movie somewhere, and he's playing like, you know, the old like con artist or whatever.
I mean,
Man,
it's got somebody in there that you probably don't know off the top of your head. That I know off the top of my head.
who?
Robert Earl Jones,
He's in there?
father of James Earl Jones.
Oh, is he the guy that's helping Hooker in the beginning?
He sure is.
No way.
Yep.
I never put that together.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of the inciting incident for the movie is he and Hooker pull a con and it goes bad, and then Hooker has to go off to Chicago for reasons. People should watch that movie, man. It's on Netflix. That movie is great.
Yeah. I don't remember every inch of it perfectly, but I've watched it multiple times. It's very good.
One of the all-time classics and one of the greatest soundtracks ever.
Probably. You could probably put it up there.
That song that they play, like the, you know, do 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 do. Yeah. Oh my God, classic.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely one of those. Just I don't know, man. It's just good. The writer of that, I just looked it up because I was like, who wrote those movies? Also won an Academy Award for Sleepless in Seattle.
Okay.
Yeah. And then went on to direct Major League 2.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some, you know?
Yeah. Funny. Well, where could people tell us what they thought of The Sting? Because they should go watch it.
They could write to us at podcast@weweregamers.com. Man, I love a good heist movie.
Yeah. Oh, then you should watch that. You would like that, Logan. Logan Lucky is a heist movie.
Okay.
It's just it's a little bit.
I'll put it on my list.
It's a little bit of an offbeat heist movie, not exactly like an Ocean's 11 or The Sting.
The Sting takes place in like the 20s or 30s or something. Yeah, it was made later, but like the time period or whatever. The amounts of money that are involved are just hilarious because like this huge big con they're playing is for like $500,000. And you're like, this is a joke. It's like 40 people involved and they're splitting $500,000.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. I don't think I've ever seen Logan Lucky. Okay, I'm writing this down.
Yeah. Are you talking, Andy, more like Lucky Number 11 kind of movie?
No. Lucky Number 11 was that shooting movie. Wasn't it?
I mean, there were guns in it.
Yeah, no, Lucky Number 11 is like a action movie.
Yeah. But it's still got the same. It's still got the same kind of like you don't really know all of what's going on here.
Oh, you know most of what's going. Okay, it's a heist movie, which is, I guess, I didn't really know, but was kind of like a little bit of a surprise to me. It's more of a like a how are all the pieces of the plan gonna fit together? I'm gonna show you 98% of the plan, and then there's gonna be a surprise twist, but it's actually part of the plan. We just didn't show you that part of the plan. Also,
Ocean's 11 style.
Yeah, it's almost exactly that type of style of like, oh, but this was the whole time. I don't recall seeing anybody pull a gun the entire time. There is a cop who has a gun on their hip, but I don't. There's like no violence. Like it's a heist movie, but there's no violence as far as I recall. Which now that I think about it is kind of fun and interesting. it's got a good story. If you like a heist movie, it's got a good story, and it's got a nice little heartwarming, like, these guys have always kind of been down and out, and they're gonna give it one last go, to make things even and right. I mean, if you like that type of stuff, give it a shot. It's probably a good one of those. And the weird cameos like Sebastian Stan make it worth it. Like,
Nice.
you're like, why is Peter Griffin in this?
Very random. He shows up.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was him at first, and then you're like, oh, Seth MacFarlane. Yep, that sure is the guy.